Hi, I am Leah, and this is my first video I'm going to be posting on my new channel. So thanks so much for joining. I just got off the phone with a client, and I feel called and pushed upon to have this conversation as my first discussion here. So the idea of you can't hate yourself into change of any kind. So I'll tell you a little bit about something that I've experienced. So throughout my life, I have in general experienced a lot of the body dysmorphia that many of us in our generation have. Um, and just being like, oh, I'm so fat, I'm so gross, blah, 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 blah. Um, and it even got reinforced to me when I would be like on dating sites or, talking to different people to date. And I was actually told several occasions, like, oh, you're bigger than someone who I would normally date. And let me tell you, I was like a size 12. Like I was an average sized woman. And those things that people said to me really stuck with me for a long time in that I was bigger than they normally would like. And so for a long time I I just wanted to shrink myself and shrink myself and shrink myself. And when I weighed about 180 pounds or so, and I would be like, oh, I need to go on a diet. I need to lose weight. I need to this. I need to that. Because I just didn't feel worthy as I was. And I to be honest, I hated my body. I was like, ugh, you're so fat and gross. Gross, 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 right? Like all this negative energy I was giving my body. And fast forward to, finding a partner who loved me and didn't make any comments about my body or the size of it or how it looked, minus like, oh, you're so hot, whatever. Um, Fast forward to, my body getting bigger. I gained weight. I was about 100 pounds heavier than I was years before. And I still would look in the mirror and be like, oh, you're fat, you're gross, whatever. And I had a realization one day where it was like, oh, my body might not be the problem. It's my mindset. Because 100 pounds ago, I thought I was gross and fat. Even when I weighed like 130 pounds in high school, I still felt bigger than my friends. So I felt gross and fat then. So recognizing that like my body was never the problem. It was always how I interpreted it and how I thought about it. And so I got to reflect on that no matter what weight I was at, I still felt the same judgment and self-loathing. And I recognized that the number on the scale didn't change how I saw myself. It was I needed to, like, I still thought that, like, ugh, right? Like, ugh, gross, hate that. And I had a moment where I was like, I don't know that anything can change or whatever unless I go at it from like a different angle. And so I started to work on being neutral. Like, okay, this is my body. Maybe this is the size my body wants to be. And recognizing that we live in a super fat phobic society, right? Of people, you know, trying to shrink themselves and trying to be a part of the status quo. Like, I know that the messaging I got was you could be anything in the world, just don't be fat, right? Like you could be a huge asshole. But as long as you're not fat, it's fine. People will still like you. And I really had to work on my perception of self because I started to think, even if I lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds or 40 pounds, I'm still going to think that I'm a fat, gross person. And I didn't want that to be true anymore. But I also recognized that like truly loving my body and being like, oh, this is amazing and perfect and beautiful. I couldn't just switch the switch of like super negative to super positive. So I was like, okay, I just need to become neutral. So the big key for me was becoming neutral. And so, and a lot of my clients, they may start with being very negative towards themselves or anti them in terms of like not believing that they deserve good things or not pushing themselves to be in a position that they perceive to be better because they weren't worthy of it. So we work on neutrality of like, it just is. It's not good or bad. It just is. So instead of thinking, I hate my body to myself, I shifted to, this is my body. Yeah, this is my body. And just removing the negative narrative and seeing my body as it is without any judgment. We're creatures of judgment as human beings. Our job is to judge, but mainly for survival. But now that we're in a space where we don't have to, you know, dodge wild animals and hunt for our food and forage for our food and keep ourselves alive in that kind of regard, we don't need as much judgment as we have. So, here's some neutral statements that I suggest trying. I have a body that carries me through life. I have a body that carries me through life. I have legs that let me move. I have legs that let me move. I have arms that let me do things. I have arms that let me do things. And also recognizing that, like, you know, there's limitations that other people experience. They still have a lot of things that they can do. There's always something that we can do, but we tend to focus on what we can't do, thinking that if we have this negative approach to it, it will change. And I'm here to challenge that idea and tell you that that's not how it works. Or if it does change, it's not going to be a longevity, sustainable change because you're not doing it from a place of love and acceptance. You're doing it from a place of hatred and criticism. So instead of fixating on things you don't like, focus on what you do like. And if it's hard for you to find things that you do like, focus on things that are. I have pretty red hair, or I have red hair, or I have eyes that allow me to see, or my skin is soft. Things that just are can't be good or bad. So think about how your body supports you in ways that you might not have appreciated before. Entertain ways to appreciate instead of like degrade, right? So maybe you used to struggle walking upstairs, but now you have more endurance. And that matters more than numbers on a scale, right? I've known plenty of people and plenty of clients who their goal was to lose an X amount of weight. Why? Why does that number, why does that resonate to you? Have you been that way before? Well, yeah. Were you happy then? Well, no. So why do you think that now going to that weight is going to be something that is like, oh, this is the solution? No, my friend, it is the glasses that you're wearing, the lenses in which you look through life. So celebrating all of your wins, everything that you do intentionally is a win. Okay. So maybe you're on a fitness journey and you're like, ah, the numbers on the scale aren't moving fast, blah, 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 blah. Well, are you nourishing your body? Yeah. I drink enough water every day. That's amazing. Be proud of that. We're in a society where we're kind of told not to be proud of ourselves or not to celebrate things that I should just do. So if we start showing our gratitude and appreciation for the things that we do have or already are able to do, then we open the door for new things to come our way. If I if I was someone in your life who had influence on you and I gave you something and you were just like, "Ugh, this is stupid. Ugh, I hate this. Why'd you give me this? It's so dumb." What's the likelihood you think that I'm going to give you something else? You didn't even appreciate what you had. So I'm here to challenge the narrative that you have to appreciate all the things you have, even if your perception is they're not great. People think, oh, well, I'll hang a picture of myself when I was like, 120 pounds up, and that'll motivate me. Self-hate is not a motivator. It is a roadblock. And when you act from a place of hate, it creates resistance, burnout, and self-sabotage. Think of, and maybe you've had a different experience in terms of if you've did any sort of competitive sports. There's a lot of yelling and criticism and judgment because they thought at the time that that was what's going to motivate people. Negative motivation is not good motivation. If I have a dog and every time it does something I don't want it to do and I slap it in the face, it might stop doing those things, but it doesn't stop doing it because it feels safe and loved. It does it because it's afraid and it feels judged. So the same applies to us. And an acceptance doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means that you're allowing yourself to move forward with kindness and to treat yourself with the same kindness that you treat other people with. You know, and and loving yourself wholly and completely does not mean that you stop improving. It doesn't mean that aren't going to, move forward in whatever journey it is because you've accepted of where you are. No, like it means that you improve now from a place of care and not punishment. You know, we we need love and we have to get it from ourselves first and foremost. So treating yourself like you would a friend. Would you ever talk to yourself the way that you speak to, or I'm sorry, would you ever talk to a friend the way that you speak to yourself? I guarantee the answer is no. You would never talk to a friend, even a stranger, the way that you talk to yourself. And acceptance is the foundation for positive change. It is the absolute bare minimum baseline. Those negative punishments and connotations that we put upon ourselves are really just oppressing us and keeping us small, keeping us in inaction as opposed to action. But if you accept it for how it is, you work with it, not against it. You can apply this to your body, your experiences, your life. So overall, I want you to take away from this that you can absolutely get to a different place, but it's going to be so much harder to get to a different place if you're just shitting on yourself the whole way. Being neutral is the first space that we need to get to. And then even just a little bit more positive. Think of it like a little dial. We just want to get to zero because right now we're at negative something. Once we can get to zero, then we can start inching it up a little bit. So if you're stuck in self-hate or self-sabotage or just a space where you're like, I don't understand why it's not X or why it's not this situation or why. Take a look and see, am I not just okay with right now? And if you're not, how can you become okay with right now? So I implore you to try one thing new this week. Have it be to focus on one thing that you appreciate about your body or your situation. And focus on that one thing and really give it space of, I appreciate that I am able to walk down the driveway to get my mail and then back up the driveway and without getting winded, without getting tired, or just the fact that you can do it. Great. The more you shine light on things, the more you see them. So if you put your glasses on, your shit glasses, where it's like everything is shit, you're right. Everything that you see is going to look like it's shit because those are the glasses that you chose to put on that day. So the closing thought is you don't have to love your body overnight, but you do have to stop hating it, because real change happens when you work with yourself and not against yourself. If you found this video useful, like and subscribe to my page. Visit me on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. It's just Leah Rose Tinkren, all spelled out. Be well, and you are loved beyond measure. Thank you.